Guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here once again, back by popular demand, Mr. Dancing Diamonds himself, Bailey D. Bailey, thank you for coming back on.
What's up, BlakeChaos? How are you doing today? First and foremost, if you have not liked, commented, subscribed, followed, do what you need to do so we can keep bringing you all the content you love, all the sports talk you want to hear. Let's jump right into it. I want to talk about this just absolute garbage of a list we are seeing here.
This is crazy. So, this has been floating around on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it made me laugh. Because if we just start looking at this list here, clearly, the top three I have no problems with. We got Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen. I got no problem with those. Bailey, do you?
In the last couple of years, I do not have no problem. In the last couple of years, they definitely have shown their dominance around the league. I'm just more sitting kind of like 4 through maybe 15, 20. I mean, the bottom of the list looks pretty accurate. Obviously, a bunch of throwaways and a bunch of, stuff that's not going on. But just right after that 4 to about 15 to 20, I don't know. This list just is not it. Even after eating a delicious Costco pizza, it still makes me want to go to the Great Lakes and jump off the pier and swim to the nearest buoy with the cold ice water. I mean, it just is not right, dude. I'm not having it. I do not like it.
Okay, first of all, you got Brock Purdy, who goes to the Super Bowl, who's at 18th. Like the
At
one thing,
18,
this is what I hate about social media and its power over everyone is that people put out this and it got like 200 and some odd thousand likes or retweets or whatever it was on X. But like you put Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, and Kirk Cousins ahead of Jared Goff, who made it to the NFC Championship game behind leading one of the best offenses in the
why
league.
is Aaron Rodgers on this list, let alone sitting at 15?
He had four
I nearly
plays.
shit my pants seeing this, dude. Like, what is going on? We got so many top-rated quarterbacks so low. I mean, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, that need to definitely be at the top of this list. That need to be way higher. I mean, Dak Prescott, come on, dude. After you broke your ankle, you broke your own ankle like years ago, you're sitting at number 6. There is no way. You need to drop numbers, and you need to bring some of these guys a little bit higher.
When it
Even
comes to
like
Dak
Jordan Love.
Prescott, yeah, Dak Prescott, I'm sorry. Listen, you can continue to have great regular seasons every year, but if you continue to shit your pants and shit the bed in the playoffs, you're not in the top half of that list for me.
Not at all. Not at all. That is something I do not agree with. I mean, even, kind of people that we hear about like Tua and stuff like that, I definitely think that they need to be a little higher rated, than Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's a great quarterback. He's made a stand, but he is definitely a little outdated to the game, coming up with injuries and stuff like that. I just think this list was more of made for a joke, just to kind of get people like you and I on here so we can get talking about it and just laugh at it, dude. I
It
mean,
worked. It
what
worked,
is
Bailey
this?
D. It worked. We're here. We're talking. We're making content about it. But something. Okay, now you bring up Kirk Cousins. You say I forget the comment you just made, but it was something along the lines of he's maybe a little old, maybe a little washed up. And this is a Holland boy. He's from
This
our
is a
neck of the
Holland boy. He's
woods.
from our state. He's a
But
Michigan State boy. I love this dude. He put so many good years in the NFL, but I mean, there
Bailey,
comes a
Bailey,
time to
he's
where,
going to get a man.
people get
He's
aged.
going to get a $200 million contract. I mean, the Vikings are going to re-sign him. He's a free agent. The
Oh, yeah.
Vikings, and he deserves it, man. He has put that city
No
on
doubt.
his
He's a
shoulders.
dog. He throws up them numbers, but you got to look at these young studs coming into the game. I mean, especially, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, all these guys who are making actual impactful plays, sticking around the whole league and going for it all. I mean, this list is just honestly a joke, and I just can't wait to kind of break it down a little bit more. I don't know. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. What are your top 3 that you would move around in this list right here? Give
The
me your
top
top 3.
three I would move around. All right, I would put it would be Purdy, Tua, and Baker. I would put. I mean, okay. If I'm moving from the right side of the list to the left side of the list, I would take those three: Purdy, Tungavalo, Tua, and Mayfield, and I would switch out Murray, Smith, and Rogers. Because what the hell is Rodgers and Richardson doing in this list at 15 and 16? They can't be there. They
They
can't be
cannot,
there.
and let alone we got the big man Jared Goff sitting right above him after the impactful season that we just seen him have. Like, there is no way that you can even put Aaron Rodgers. I get he was a great quarterback. I get he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, all of this. But what he's done in the last 5 years is honestly a joke. People laugh at him. I don't doubt that they throw hot dogs and freaking Dorito bags at him. Like, it's just honestly, it's a joke. But it's funny, and that is exactly why we are here talking about it today.
You know what? Okay. I just took this list and put it in a whole different context. You and I are sitting here talking about the past year and how this list, it's the 2024 offseason quarterback
Mhm.
power rankings list. But still, what are they? No, 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 no. I take that all back because what are you doing putting Roger there? He had 4 plays. I understand that you do not know how he works in a Robert Saleh offense. You do not know how he works with those receivers. Yes, he's the leader of that team, but you don't do that.
No. I mean, when you all have like 2 or 3 minutes of gameplay throughout the whole season, let alone coming out like that, like there's no reason that you should be on this power rankings list. Like if it was my opinion, like I'm not a fan of the Bears, but Justin Fields, he is a good quarterback. He just needs to go to a team that he deserves, that's got him, that will have his back and they have the right structure. I would definitely say Purdy, Fields, and Tua. Maybe Hurts. Hurts is a great quarterback, I'm not going to lie, but he does fold under pressure. I would
Mm-hmm.
switch those from our right category over to our left, which would be dropping out, obviously, Richardson, Rodgers, and I don't know,
Murray, Murray and
maybe
Smith,
Burrow or Lawrence. That
Burrow,
big ass.
Burrow. No, Burrow needs to be up there in front of Stafford, Prescott, and Stroud. It's
He
Joe
needs to
Burrow.
be, but he needs to get himself off the IR. He's on the injury list. I mean, he has been. He is a great quarterback, but he is fragile. You can be a great quarterback, you can be great everything, but if you cannot hold up your strength to the game and not be getting, injured or taken off, like it is, I don't know. I just don't see him. I see his best years already ahead. You know, I don't, with all the other impactful players, I mean, the other quarterbacks that are making the big names for themselves, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, they're all coming in like that. I just see him kind of dropping down on the list slowly and slowly. I just still don't understand why Dax is on there. I still don't understand. Kyler Murray, he had some great years at first. He was an absolute dog, but it's
Mhm.
just something, all about the hype at first. And then they just kind of have that drop back. They slowly go down. They slowly go down. And it's just, they slowly get irrelevant. And that's just kind of how it is. That's the name of the game. You got all these young bucks coming in every year trying to make that name. People show out for the first year or two. I mean, a lot of people are even lucky to have, great years and everything coming out of college, taking that step up, running with the big boys. It's a big step, and not everybody can perform like that.
Bailey, what do you think is going to happen with Justin Fields?
I would really like to see him go to a team that he
What team
he
though?
can
No, I don't want to hear your Stephen A. Smith pitch. I want to hear where you think you're looking back, you're looking ahead. It's August. We're heading into training camp, and I want to know what Bailey D thinks about where he's going to be. What's
give me
going
your
to
top
happen?
3 teams and I'll tell you. Give me your top 3 teams for Justin Fields and I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, it's clearly it's going to be between the Falcons, the Raiders, and the Steelers. I don't think he's staying in Chicago. I know we made the video talking about this whole thing, a couple of weeks ago, and I was high on them keeping Justin Fields and making some kind of a trade with the number one pick, but I don't think they're going to do that because Chicago has proved year in and year out that they are incompetent at drafting. Period.
Take Pickett out, send that boy to the Steelers. I guarantee you they will make a name for themselves. I guarantee you he will do a great deal for their program. He just does not have what he needs, the structure of that program, the consistency, everything. All he needs is a little bit of blocks. All he needs is, to be able to get out of the pocket, use them legs. He's got a decent arm. I really feel like he could make a difference going to a different franchise, a different program. I really do.
He needs to work on. I would like to see him go to Washington and and
We
use
don't
those.
want that. We don't want that. We don't want. We already have enough going on with the Commanders. We don't want that much pressure. I mean, you put everything, all the keys in there. Washington is going to be a dog team next year already. We don't want to put any more pressure. I mean, they're already going to be at the make or break kind of their, their 2024 year. And definitely if they send him there and they get too much new structure going on, I feel like they're definitely going to be a dominant team around the league.
I think they will too. I think it'll end up. There's going to be a lot of turmoil in the NFC East next year.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about this list, I don't think Bailey Zappi has a starting job next year. I don't think
No,
Kenny
gone,
Pickett will be back.
gone.
He'll be second string. Will Levis will probably be second string. I think
Yep.
Desmond Ritter can still do something.
50-50. I mean, it's all about how you perform. And if you're not making it where you're at, always got to shoot for, something new. I mean, if you don't have the right players, you don't have the right structure, you don't have the right strategies going on. I mean, and they've proven it, a year or two enough that it's not the right feel, the right pick for them. I definitely think there could be a lot of old switcheroos going on.
What do you think the Giants do? You think they stick with Mac Jones, or you think he hasn't? I mean, God, they paid the shit out of him, and he's just shit in the bed.
There's not really much can do at the moment. I mean, the Giants have always been the Giants and they will always be the Giants. I mean, obviously we, saw a lot of great players coming to and going to the Giants just over the years. I just feel like they're in a real restructure era for their team. I think they, there's a lot going on with the Giants, man.
So,
I don't see, really switching out one or two kind of like, players like that. That's really going to make a difference. They just really need whole restructure. They need just kind of that whole new base. They just need to start fresh, especially going, this last season. It was just kind of, I got family who love the Giants. I got a lot of people out in New York, but I don't know. I just don't see this being their year, to be honest.
I don't see them having a year for a while. I don't like what anything's going on in that organization. Bailey, the last question I have for you. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns. How do you think next year plays out for that man? I mean, let's put his off the field antics to the side. Maybe he's getting rub and tugs. Maybe he's not. Don't care.
That's a 50-50. A man does whatever a man does, I guess. But,
Hey,
I mean, when you're in the position you are at that, and when you are
he's
they
an
had a
athlete.
decent
He's got
season this
sore
last year, and
muscles.
they were projected to go, a good, decent way, but they're just, they're not clicking. They're not compatible how they were. And I mean, they make plays and they get it done and stuff like that. But I just feel like, they could be going a lot farther if they just, didn't have a bunch of ego-headed, big built kind of guys. Like you gotta get guys that are compatible for each other, that want to be with the team, that want to, they want to be versed with everybody and not just kind of, give me the damn brick. I'm going to run it down the field, or I'm going to get it down there. I'm going to throw y'all on the back. You got to have teams that just really want to be compatible with each other, want to rise above the occasion and just work together, to be honest. And this list, before we do get off, I just have to say, if it was my choice, I would eliminate Prescott from this list. I would drop Stafford down, even though he throws up incredible numbers. He has, while he's been in LA, he was in Detroit. I mean, he's an all-time quarterback. Everybody, had some hate for him. I still got love for him. He was, an absolute dog quarterback for us. He was probably one of the greater ones that Detroit's seen. But I would put
Stafford
Jared
top
Goff
five.
up at number 5.
5.
I would drop down Stafford to 6, and I would completely erase Dax Prescott from, at least this left category. I would put Purdy right back over it.
He was in the MVP race for 13 of the 17 weeks that he played. That's Bailey. I like your bold, brave statements. You're not afraid to put it all out there, and that's what the
let your nuts hang sometime. I mean,
that's what the viewers want to see. They want you to just lay your big nuts on the table.
I'm not a Cowboys fan by all means. I like Dak coming into the league and everything like that, but I just really feel like, especially since his ankle injury, that brutal, gruesome injury, that he's just been kind of on a downfall, and he's not playing the way he used to.
Where do you put Jordan Love? Where do you put Jordan Love? I want to hear it.
I would probably bump him up to, I would want to say about number 7, and we would have to bump CJ Stroud up a couple of numbers there. Maybe switch out like a little bit of Herbert and Stafford action, where I was bringing Stafford down 1, because CJ Stroud, he was all the way in the race till the end of the season. Everybody loved him. He knew how to get down the field. He knew how to bring players down the field. He knew how to get out of the pocket. he is definitely coming out and he is making a name for himself. And especially because we did videos comparing Lamar to CJ. I mean, there's no way that boy is that far down the list. You got to at least bump him up top 5.
Bailey, I completely forget that I made this tier master list. Do you still have that? The one I sent you?
I do still have that.
Pull that up. Let's run through this because I put a lot of effort, at least 13 and a half to 15 minutes into this list.
Oh man, blood,
So
sweat, and tears.
yeah, we need to talk about it.
Well, I definitely agree with the trash section.
Yeah, okay, so in the
No
trash
doubt about
section,
that.
that's okay, I see Sam Howell and Daniel Jones, but who's that middle one? It's Atlanta Falcons. I think that's basically the whole Falcons scenario. Like this, see,
That's
here's the thing with this tier master list, shout out tiermaster.com, but it's very hard to find the accurate year with the accurate players in it. But
mhm.
let's break this down starting with the trash section. Sam Howell, uh, whoever the Falcons, just the whole Falcons situation, we'll call that.
Butt cheeks. Dirty
Butt
butt cheeks
cheeks,
at that.
dirty, unwashed butt cheeks.
Raunchy.
Yeah, raunchy. Below average, we got the steroid using Jimmy G. If that is
Yep.
steroids, we don't
Oh
know
yeah.
yet.
Recent story. We'll cover that in another video coming up here soon.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young, Bailey Zappi, David Carr, Matt Tannehill. I don't think he's going to have a starting job in the NFL next year.
I
And
don't think
then
so either.
And I put Deshaun Watson here because I haven't seen enough of him in the Kevin Stefanski offense to really have an accurate taking of it.
Right.
Then the average quarter. I mean, I kind of wish I would have put Russell Wilson in the below average quarterback, but I know Sean
Mhm.
Payton hated him with a passion, so you know
Oh, for sure.
we'll keep him in the
For sure.
average. But
In all my
Kyler,
opinions, I would have probably switched Joe Burrow with CJ Stroud, and I would have bumped Tua right up to the above average, just because we've seen him, obviously throw some crazy games, do
but
some
this is a
wild stuff in
prediction,
the league.
Bailey. This is a prediction for how next year turns out. So keep that in mind. I'm putting my faith in Joe Burrow. I put him in the elite category because I think he's got Dan Campbell sized nuts he wants to put on the table. I think
He
they're going to
does,
keep T.
but
Higgins.
I
I
mean,
think
when your nuts get injured, there's just no really telling. If you can't make it out on the field, you can't let your nuts swing.
that is
No
true.
doubt about it.
You gotta let your nuts swing if you want to do the thing. You heard it here first.
Mhm.
Subscribe for more beautiful one-liners like that, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe, do what you need to do so BlakeChaos and Bailey D can bring you more content, more talk, everything you love. Do it now. We will see y'all soon.
All right, later, guys.